Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford, Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news update and information with a video about scheduling. Of course, we are going to cover the scheduling, what's happening, what orders are scheduling for this Thursday, January 9th, 2025. That is just for this week. So this is information regarding what Ford planning to schedule for each model this week. So, and we are also at the end of this, we're going to, this is one of those times where we're going to start talking about what's going to happen for later in the month for those March production dates. So most everything for this week will be for February production dates and everything. So we're trying to finish up production and those scheduling of those February build dates there. And in fact, that kind of gets me into going over the different terminology. So let's dive into that. So we are talking about scheduling your order. Those orders are placed in an order bank. The dealer places those orders for all stock and retail orders. Ford likes to call that WebDO, WBDO. I think it's web-based dealer ordering system. And then that's where the retail orders are put in. Retail orders are a customer-placed order. When those vehicles come in, you'll be able to notify those by a green window sticker on the vehicle. A stock order, that is an order placed by a dealer for stock or lot inventory, and those will typically have the blue window sticker. Not typically, they will. Sometimes if you see one on a lot that has a green window sticker, it means it was originally a retail order, but probably what happened is a customer turned it down or couldn't get approved for that vehicle, so it became available for a dealer to sell. A priority code, that is a priority given to orders by the dealer. As 03 to 19 is a retail order, customer placed order. 20 to 80 is a stock priority codes, and the lower the better. So dealer, the default is 19 for retail and 80 for a stock, and then a dealer can lower that down. So dealer can give those orders down. So because it's the lower is better, retail orders are always looked at first for scheduling before a stock one will. So scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. Like I said, we're going to give you dates of what they're scheduling for this week, but they will be for those March dates in most instances, most models, I should say. Production dates, that is when Ford plans to build your vehicle. Those can change and move around and shift depending on what the factory needs to do. Allocations, Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank. Doesn't matter if it's a retail order. Just having a retail order in there does not mean you're automatically going to get an allocation. Dealer earns those allocations from their sales of each model within their actually now state instead of region. And so they earn the allocation to be able to schedule those orders. So where you want to look at is a dealer that has allocations, but not a lot of orders, so they can get all those orders scheduled within that month. That is the golden formula there, and what hopefully Ford hopes that happens for most dealers. Constraints, that's when an option may be in short supply or take longer to build. So if it's something that might take a while, sometimes that becomes a constraint. So the capacity is the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, and option. And sometimes if there's more orders than what their capacity is, that's where we see that constraint where it might take longer, right? Or sometimes there's a short supply of certain thing you're putting on your vehicle, a tire, a wheel, something like that. And so that caused a constraint. Job 1, job 2, even sometimes there's a job 3. I know one model is going to have a job 3 this year. That's production will be split into those different production runs. And they're split that way so that they can introduce maybe a different product, a different, option, maybe even a package or even a color like it is for the Mustang we're going to talk about later. And then balance out. That's the end of production or the balance out of a job run, like a job 1 balance out, job 2 balance out, and they'll have job 2 startup and that kind of stuff. And that's all those terminologies right there. Okay. If you have any questions on that, just let us know. Drop them in the comments down below. Now let's get into the 2025 model year Mustang. Now the Mustang does have 948 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. So the order banks are open up. They are not scheduling this week for production dates. Now, I do want to highlight a couple things. I'll cover this in my live stream tonight, but on the Mustang, they are now doing job 2 scheduling of orders when they do schedule. And on job 2, there were some significant changes and upgrades, and that's why they have the different jobs, so they can bring in some things. And one of them is a new color, the new intense lime yellow paint color. So that is going to be available now, as well as a matte clear film. That's not new for the Mustang, but it's new to the Mustang convertible. So now you can get that on a convertible, which previously was just a coupe. Also, the new optional bronze wheel for the Dark Horse. So Dark Horse didn't have a bronze wheel. They do now, which is pretty cool. And then so also it says starting at job 2, all Mustangs will be built with the Night Pony package headlamp. Not the package, just the headlamp will now be the darkened bezel on the headlamp on all of the vehicles built for job 2. So there you go. So that's some things on the Mustang that I wanted to cover. So, all right. Next is the 25 model year Escape. Currently 229 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Escape right now, including plug-in hybrid and hybrid. They are not scheduled this week, though, for production dates. So they sometimes when we see that, it's because they've already scheduled out all their capacity for those months, and so that's why they're not scheduling. And that's probably the case for Mustang and Escape, as well as a couple other models. Next up is the 25 model year Bronco Sport. Currently 182 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for all configurations. And they are going to be scheduling this week, cleanup scheduling, which means they can certain things that they probably are kind of tight on, that they don't have a lot of availability to produce certain things. We'll talk about those in a second. So it's they're looking for those other orders. So if a dealer has an allocation, they want to fulfill that allocation. So these are kind of notes for those dealers that need to fulfill that allocation, and here are the best way to get those ordered. Right, they are scheduled for those dates in February. And it's very limited to exhaust availability for the freewheeling version, the heritage version, the Outer Banks with the tech package, the black appearance package, which is available on Outer Banks and Big Bend, I believe, and then also the 17-inch carbonized gray painted aluminum wheel that's standard on the Big Bend. So that does leave like a Badlands. So if you're a dealer out there that has an allocation, maybe you don't have any retail orders, put in a stock Badlands and you can use that allocation. Otherwise, it looks like about everything else. I mean, you're talking Outer Banks without the tech package, maybe, or maybe an Outer Banks without the black appearance package as well. So something like that. So next up is a 25 model year Bronco. There's only 889 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, and that includes Strop and Raptor orders. Just throwing that out there. Order banks are open up for all different trim levels, and you can place those orders. They are not scheduling this week for production. Again, they're probably planned out already for all their February build dates. Next up is a 25 model year Mustang Mach-E. Currently only 103 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year, which does get, don't forget, the new Blue Cruise 1.5 with automatic lane change. I'd like to drive one of those with that just to see what it's like. But they are not scheduling this week. And again, I think they've already planned out the production for those February build dates. 25 model year Explorer, currently only 905 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Explorer. I think they're on job 2 scheduling and everything. This is cleanup scheduling. So they do plan to schedule for 2 weeks, the production weeks of 2/17 and the week of 2/24. So a cleanup scheduling, again, just means dealer has an allocation. They want to fulfill that allocation. So use these notes as a dealer to find those orders that you can use your allocation on. Very limited to exhaust availability for the 2.3 EcoBoost motor. Also the ST line, the 21x9 aluminum painted wheel, and the 20x8-inch bright painted aluminum wheel, 21-inch dark alloy polished wheel, and then the black painted roof. So those are the ones so you want to work around that as a dealer. So there you go. Next up is a 25 model year Expedition. Currently 1,322 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year Expedition, and you can get those as an all new redesigned Expedition. And we do have, there's no scheduling this week. Again, they probably already have their February production dates scheduled out for you, which is a startup for the Expedition. Next up is a 25 model year Maverick. Currently only 2,257 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up right now for the Maverick for orders, and including Lobo, where we're working on job 2. Job 2 order banks are open up. This is, again, we clean up scheduling for Maverick. So those dealers that have those allocations not used, like we got all of our allocations used, but if a dealer has an open allocation, they're going to look for a retail or stock order. So if a dealer maybe doesn't have a retail order in there to get scheduled, they're looking, they have an allocation though, put a stock order that kind of fits what they're looking for here. So some of the things that they are having issues with, very limited to exhaust availability for the XL version and the trimmer. Opened up for about anything else. So if your dealer out there has an allocation, put in an XLT order, that Lariat order, even Lobo order. It can get scheduled. We had some Lobos get scheduled. So there you go. All right, next up is the 25 model year Ranger. Currently 453 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up, including Raptor. No scheduling this week. Again, probably already have their February production dates all filled up for what they can produce. Next up, 25 model year Super Duty. Currently 6,341 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Super Duty for all configurations. They are scheduling this week for Kentucky Truck Plant for the weeks of February 3rd and the week of February 10th. And then in Ohio for the weeks of February 17th to the weeks of March 3rd. So they are actually going to be going into March. Required orders, some orders they're looking to fulfill, they need to help complete the production, total production run that they can do. They need some F-250 XL and or XLT orders with the 6.7 liter turbo diesel. That's the standard one, not the high output one. So they're needing those orders without the dual alternators. And then they're also needing some F-350 XL and XLT orders with that same situation, with the 6.7 diesel without the dual alternator. Very limited to exhaust availability for the Lariat trim and the dual alternator, which makes sense on those orders. So looks like, we're good for most other configurations. So there you go. Next up is the 25 model year F-150. There's currently 2,703 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the F-150. They are scheduling this week. Cleanup scheduling too for them to fulfill some open slots. They are scheduling for the weeks of February 24th through the weeks of March 10th. They were doing a 6-week production for this month. So there you go. Majority of scheduling will be at Kansas City Assembly Plant. They're doing job 1 balance out at that plant. And then for job 1, spec changes and cancellations are turned off. So, okay. So they can't change any of those orders. And Dearborn, they're doing Raptor scheduling only. So they will schedule some Raptors this week. So there's that. Next up is the 25 model year Transit. There's currently only 990 unscheduled retail orders in order bank for the Transit plant. And the order banks are open up and they are scheduled this week. Again, cleanup scheduling for the weeks of 210 through 224. And so there you go. There's that. Limited availability for the high roof long van and 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive configuration, and very limited to exhausted availability for the 3.5 V6. I think that's the EcoBoost engine, and also for the heavy-duty front axle. So those are those there. Now they are needing some low to medium roof vans. Low and medium roof vans. So they there you go. It says have the best chances to get scheduled right now. Also high roof extended van. They call it the jumbo van. So there you go. There's that. All right. So that is the scheduling for this week. But let's talk about what's happening for scheduling for next month, which should be happening soon. They'll get new allocations. We haven't seen our new allocation numbers yet. Probably happen this Friday. We'll probably get those, and I think maybe next week we'll be scheduling for those March build dates. So this is what their plan is for different models for production for they call it wholesale, which means dealers out. Here's your allocations for this month for January for those dates and what months they're scheduling for. So on the Mach-E, they are going to be scheduling for 4 weeks of production in March, the weeks of March 3rd through the weeks of March 24th. It does say in here that select 4P, that's, I believe, the extended range battery is retail only for this month. So if you have for stock, you won't be able to get that type of configuration. All right, the 25 model year Mustang. This says March is job 2 startup. We mentioned what the job 2 changes were earlier. It's a 5-week production, so 224 through 324. Does say in here night pony package plus the black roof open for limited availability on stock. So that's been a retail only for a long time, but it looks like they're getting caught up on that. Dark Horse is also Job 2 startup for those same dates. It says no Dark Horse performance package and limited Dark Horse appearance package. And then 60th anniversary Mustang, also they're going to be scheduling for those as well for those same dates, and retail only for those orders. You can't order a 60th anniversary for stock. So, all right, next up is the 25 model year Escape. And they are going to be scheduling for 3 weeks of production, 3/3 through 3/24. Looks like the week of 3/24 they're going to be down. So what did they say through 3/24? Anyway, so it looks like from the week 3/3 through 3/17, because the plant will be down the week of 3/24. And it does say in here active all-wheel drive is 0% due to the Continental tire. Also, it says 1.5 liter restriction due to engine availability, and no control on the plug-in or the hybrid there for us, not the plug-in, the hybrid. So no control means there's no limits on that. So they're full production on the hybrid. Now on the plug-in version, also the same weeks, plant will be down the week of the 24th, and they're not going to be wholesaling at all for plug-in hybrid. So no scheduling for plug-in. So there you go. Next is the 25 model year Bronco. They're only going to be scheduled for 2 weeks in March. So the plant's going to be down the week of the 3rd and the week of the 10th. So they're only going to be scheduled for the weeks of 3/17 and 3/24. Reduced Big Bend mix to only 25%. It does say in here, launch curve 2.3 liter available for fleet, it looks like. So yeah, if you're looking for a 2.3, then you're gonna they're still struggling to start the 2.3 production, but wanting the 2.7, that's pretty limited, right? 2.7, you can't even you can only get it on a couple models, right? Okay. Anyway, next up is a 25 model year Bronco Sport for March dates, 4 weeks of production, the weeks of 3/3 through the weeks of 3/24. No restrictions or anything there. Next up, 25 model year Explorer for March production dates. No restrictions, 4 weeks, the entire month, same dates, 3/3 through 3/24. 25 model year Expedition, also 4 weeks of production, the weeks of 3/3 through the weeks of 3/24. And note in here is the okay to buy is not planned until February. So okay to buy means that once they start making them, they can actually ship them out to dealers. And they're saying that's planned for February, which that's good because, and that's a good note because normally they've been holding vehicles 4 to 6 weeks after they've been making it, building them. They're going to start building production in the middle of February, which means that if they're okay to buy is in February, then they're not going to hold those up very long, that's going to be a miracle on those because that typically happens, especially a full redesign like they're doing this year. But there we go. That's good news. 25 model year Maverick, 4 weeks of production, same as the Bronco Sport, weeks of 3/3 through 3/24. So, and then it says first OTD wholesale on Lobo, it says, which that's actually not true. So, the OTD, that would be for your stock. So there you go. So that's a good thing. So you can order some stock. So for dealers, I'll let you know that they can start ordering some stock Lobos if they'd like to. So we have some, but ours are retails that are coming in that got scheduled. So 25 model year Ranger, March production, 2 weeks, just like Bronco. The weeks of 3/17 and 3/24, because the plant's going to be down the week of 3/3 and 3/10. So there you go. And also to go along with that, I forgot to go over Bronco Raptor. Bronco Raptor is also going to run the same, as well as Ranger Raptor is the same, except for an only note on Ranger Raptor is no graphic package. So if you have a Ranger Raptor order in and you have the graphic package on there and the dealer gets an allocation, yours won't be looked at for scheduling because they're not doing any graphic package. So that's a note for those, especially to have Ranger Raptor orders with us. If you have the Ranger graphic package, you're not going to get scheduled this month. So we're working on, we don't have our final number on Ranger Raptor allocations for this month. So, all right, next up is the 25 model year F-150. It is March is job 2 startup. So they're already on to job 2, which is pretty quick there. 6 weeks at Dearborn, 2 weeks at Kansas City, it says. So they're looking for dates 2/17 through 3/24. So right there. So they're going to still do some February scheduling. So, and then on the F-150 Raptor, information. They're scheduling for 6 weeks, February 217 through 324 for both Raptor and Raptor R. No notes on Raptor R, and the note on Raptor is 801A, which is your standard Raptor, is 45% production rate. 802A, which is your Raptor 37, is 55%. So that has flipped. It used to be the other way around, 70%. Well, what was it? 60%, 70% on 801A and only 30% to 40% on 802. That is flipped now. Most of the production is going to be the Raptor 37. That is great news for people that have Raptor 37 orders. Next up, 25 model year Super Duty. 4 weeks of production, 3.3 through 324. Fifth wheel prep package order bank is 60% versus the 22% capacity. So that is a great news right there. Reminder, it says attestation required. That's for dealers. Fifth wheel prep package order bank is 60% versus 22% capacity. That is awesome to hear. And then Transit 25 model year, 4 weeks of production they're looking for March. 3.3 through 324. It says 95%, about 95% will be vans, non-wagons. So that's a little note there for dealers right there. So there you go. That's all of our scheduling information for this week. And again, like I said, if you're watching this when it launches, you might check. We're going to be live on our live stream tonight, 7 p.m. Central. So if you want to check it out, if you want to ask any questions about what we just covered in this, we'll be answering those questions as a special Q&A part tonight. We will not covering this tonight again in a live stream. So come on over if you want to ask your questions live, or if you're watching this later after the live stream's gone, drop those comments down below and I can answer those for you. And be looking, because we're going to be having this video. We'll be going live on Tuesday nights now instead of Wednesday nights like it was last year. That is a change for our channel. So there you go. That's all we have. So thank you for watching. Hope you guys are having a great week and you get your vehicle scheduled for production if you have an order in. And until next week, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself, and we'll see you on the next video.